Hey y'all, it's Julian here, also known as the Bearded Thrift Machine. Today we're going to talk about the common tools I find at a yard sale and garage sale to flip online for a profit, so stay tuned. Today we're going to talk about very common tools that I find almost every time I go out at a yard sale or garage sale that I always sell online for a profit, mostly on eBay. And I know there are a lot of tools online. I'm talking tons and tons of different tools to sell online. This is just the stuff that I usually find out when I'm actually out garage selling. I know that a whole bunch of guys that follow me are tool guys. I know there's a billion other tools that I could be talking about. It's just endless. This is just a beginner's guide for somebody that does not know anything about tools, and you want to learn a little bit about them. And maybe something will catch your eye when you're out yard selling and say, hey, that's actually worth like 20, 30, or 40 bucks, or sometimes even more. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, disclaimer, I am definitely not any type of expert in anything. And there's a whole bunch more tools that are worth a lot more money than I'm about ready to talk to, but these are very common that you're gonna see at a garage sale. So let's go ahead and get started. The first one we're gonna talk about is ratchets. And a ratchet is basically something that looks like this. All right, it's gonna have a handle, a head on it, and it has to, something that moves back and forth. Now, what I'm gonna talk about is just 3 different sizes of ratchets. I know that there's a little bit more different sizes, but we're gonna talk about the 3 main ones, and then we're gonna talk about how each tool, like these, how to test them really quickly while you're at the garage sale to make sure they work properly. All right, so this is just your generic ratchet. This is actually from KD Tools, made in the United States, pretty good brand. And what you wanna do is take a look at it first, find the brand name on it. If you don't see a brand name, go ahead and I would put it down. Because most of the brand names are gonna have their name stamped on it. They're proud. This one's KD. Right there, and then this one, as you can tell, is huge right there. It says Craftsman. They really like their tools, so they're gonna put their name on it. So right there, if you don't see anything, put it down, keep moving. If you see something that says made in the United States, go ahead and probably hang on to it and maybe take it a step further. These are the brands that you want to write down and look up and know in your brain. One is going to be Snap-on tools. One is going to be Mac tools, like M-A-C tools, Matco, M-A-T-C-O, and then you have Craftsman, usually the older ones. I only pick up the ones made in the United States. And then like this one is KD Tools and SK Tools. Most of the ones I just said, actually I think all the ones I just said are made in the United States. So that's kind of, like a theme. If you see one made in the United States, you probably want to buy it. If not, there's a couple that probably aren't worth a ton of money made in the United States, but those are the big ones that you want to definitely Snap-on and Mac. What you want to do when you get to your first ratchet is there's 3 sizes generically. I know there's more, there's there's bigger sizes, but we're going to just go with the 3 main ones. There's a 1/2 inch drive like this. There's a 3/8 inch drive, and then there is a little guy, and that's a 1/4 inch. But we'll call these as the little guy, the medium guy, and the big guy, all right? So, obviously the little guy usually is worth a little bit less than the big guy, all right? Just more metal for your money, right? So, what you wanna do is take a look. It's obviously better, like right now I have a set right here. That's good. Sets are better than just one, but if it's just one, not a big deal. So what you want to do is pick up the ratchet, make sure it's got a brand name. Boom, you see made in the United States, say it's KD Tools, I like it. Then you want to do is make sure that the actual ratchet is not rusted, because old tools will rust inside the head. So make sure, listen, this one's a clicky one, so that's good. It's clicking good. Now there's 2 types usually on the back of a ratchet. There's a switch like this, and you switch it, it actually just clicked over, that means it goes in reverse, and then you want to try that. Clicks fine, and then there's a quick release. All right, now if you can see on the back of this, there's a button, and then press that button and a ball or a little ejector should move, and then that's it. It works perfectly, pick it up. Now this one right here I have listed really high. I have it listed for $45. I think it most likely will sell for $30, and that will be plus shipping. So, and when you're out there, you know, you don't want to spend more than $5 on this. If it's a Snap-on or Mac tool, you can spend a little bit more and obviously make more money because they're worth more money. Some of them can be worth, you know, 50, 60 to upwards of hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So that's the fast way to figure out if they work or not, okay? So moving on, that's just your ratchet, and I have this one here again. This just shows that there's different finishes on ratchets, and some are worth a lot more than others, but just always make sure that they work properly before you buy them because rust is not your friend. All right, so next one real quick, sticking with, you know, the hand tools. This one's gonna be a breaker bar, and this one, the only difference is this does not have a ratcheting head, it's a stable head. It usually has a flex where it goes back and forth. And that's really about it. And these are really nice. Again, you're looking for name brands. There's 3 names that I already said. You find these, you know, some of these can go, this one right here sells for about 20 bucks. I'll couple it with this one because they're 2 different sizes. This is the big guy and this is the middle guy. I actually think I have a little guy in the garage. So I'll put those together and ask $45 for it. And I guarantee you that I get it because they're V-Series Craftsman's, which is really good. Now, this one's a little specialty. I didn't want to get specialty, but I do find these a lot. I actually found this one at a yard sale and that's why I bought it for myself. This is a ratcheting flex head. All right, so this one's going to be a little bit worth more money because it's longer and the head of this ratchets and it flexes back and forth. I also sold a Snap-on one of these before and it was the little guy and I sold it for about $80 and it didn't even work properly and the guy knew that before he bought it. So there's a lot of money in these tools. This one's my personal one, but if you see any type of flex head with a ratchet, just make sure it works. This one has a little twist on the top. Make sure it works properly, and then you are good to go. All right, so that's it for the ratchets. Just remember how to actually test those really fast, and you're good to go. If they have a little bit of surface rust, that's easy to clean. I'm gonna do a cleaning video, hopefully in the next week or so, and I'll show you how to clean them up really nice and shiny, how to take good pictures, and boom, they sell like hotcakes. The next item, I find these all the time. Everybody looks over them, and I get them for 50 cents to a quarter at a yard sale. Nobody wants to touch these things, but they actually sell on eBay. They are kind of a little bit long tail, but I've sold some very quickly. These are C-clamps, and there's about 1,000 different C-clamps in the world and everything. The only ones I pick up are going to be older ones made in the United States. These are from the Cincinnati Tool Company. I have another one out in the garage, but I picked up these right here. I have 4 of them. These are called Super Juniors number 54s, and usually if it's a decent C-clamp, what you're gonna have is the name on it. You can comp it out on eBay really quick to see if they sell. These do sell. They sell for about $5 to $6 a piece. And you're thinking, well, that's not a lot of money, but I picked all of these up for $1, a quarter a piece. So what I'm gonna do is obviously sell them together for $20 plus shipping. I paid $1. You make $19 and it's very easy to ship these, store them, you don't have to clean them. And how to make sure the C-clamp works, very easy. Just make sure surface rust isn't too bad. If it's real bad, just put it back and just make sure it turns properly. Make sure it's not bent, the threads aren't bent, and make sure this little guy slides in and out pretty good. Now you can bend it back, but again, really beginner, we don't want to get into anything like that. We want it quick and easy. So just make sure everything works properly, it's nice and smooth, and then you're good to go. Buy those for super cheap. That one's probably worth a little less. Nah, you really can't hurt them. That one's, you know, usually that's like a throw-in. You're like, hey, I want to buy this. Can you mind if I have one of those? And people are like, yeah, take them. And you're going to make some money on it. So the next one we're going to talk about is going to be another type of ratchet. And these I see probably every other week that I go are torque wrenches. All right, now this is going to be kind of a specialty tool. The thing is about torque wrenches is that I always see them because people are always getting rid of them and they are worth a lot of money. Certain ones. Now this one even take, for instance, would be I call a that's tough to say, non-name brand torque wrench. I actually bought this for myself when I was working on a Mustang, and I bought it for whatever reason. I bought it off Amazon, and this is a medium-sized guy. I know it looks big, but it's a medium-sized guy. And I bought it still for $37, free shipping. So even cheap torque wrenches, as long as they work properly, are still going to fetch you some sort of money. Now again, the name brand ones are going to be really expensive. So if you can pick up one for cheap, the other day I picked up one for like $15 and sold it very quickly for $115, like really fast. Now there's digital ones and there's also ones that are like this, like manual. You know it's a torque wrench usually because it has some sort of dial at the bottom here that turns. I don't pick these up unless all this works. There's a little thing on the bottom that screws, and then this actual handle will screw. There's foot-pounds, there's different sizes, but what you really need to know is make sure that all this is working properly, that everything screws nicely, there's no rust, because these, you don't really want these to be too rusty or abused when you buy them. This also has a switch on it, and make sure that the head does ratchet back and forth, and you're good to go. Now there are digital ones that are worth some money also, and they're going to have a digital thing at the bottom. Just turn it on to make sure it works, and make sure the ratchet head works and the switch works. These can go for a ton of money when you're out there. I actually don't have any more because they all sold out. Even they have ones with dials, right? So it's a little different than that. It's actually like a dial on the bottom where you push pressure on it, moves the dial, like total manually. They sell out too. They're not as super expensive, but I sold one for like 20, 30 bucks the other day. It went to Puerto Rico, and the guy loved it, gave me a good review and everything. So look out for torque wrenches. They, you know, if you get them cheap enough, you can definitely make a profit, but if it's a name brand one, you ain't gotta get it too cheap because they're super expensive. So moving on real fast, I don't want this to be too long. This is going to be a wood planer. Now these wood planers are all over on garage sales. You gotta know which ones you're looking for. This one has not sold yet. I have it listed for I think $40. This one's gonna be a Craftsman, and it has the crown emblem on it. I don't know if you can see right there. It's older, and that's the crown emblem for Craftsman, so that's good. This one I think is a number 4. It's a smaller one, but the wood is nice on it, and nothing's loose. It's all nice and stable, and that's what you want to look out for on planers. Make sure the handle is not cracked. Make sure the wood looks good. Make sure this wood looks good, and make sure there's not a lot of rust on the bottom. I actually didn't even have to clean this one because this one was really clean when I got it. The most valuable one I've ever sold so far was a Stanley Bailey. I think it was a number 9. So remember that Stanley Bailey's, and it's made in the United States right there. And what you want to do is just make sure there's not a lot of rust on these. And there's a little blade down here, make sure that's not beat up or, you know, broken or anything. But the biggest thing is the wood here. You know, people will rebuild these, but you don't want to get into all that. You just want to make it look pretty decent when you buy it and flip it. And they do go pretty cheap at garage sales, probably like between $5 to $7. I think I picked up my Stanley one for $5. I picked this one up for $2. All right, again, we're gonna move on to a wrench. I only have one wrench right here. Name brand wrenches are obviously gonna go a lot faster. If it says made in China on it or something like that, I don't pick it up. You can if you want to, but there's probably not a value there on eBay. I only try to sell really expensive wrenches on eBay because I'm sitting on a lot of wrenches that are just single wrenches and they're long tail. So this is just a regular combination wrench, has an open and has a close. There are wrenches that have 2 closed, 2 open. I find that the ones that have the 2 closed ends, which are called box ends, are actually go a lot faster than combination wrenches than 2 opens. I find that the 2 open ones, this open and this open, actually sells the slowest, and these kind of sell in the middle. If you're just starting out and you don't want to sit on a whole bunch of stuff, try to pick them up in sets. I'm telling you, there's a billion things that you can do with tools, like a billion. This is just really common stuff that I find. So that is just a really quick beginner's guide, and I know that there's a ton more out there, and I'll do more videos, maybe specialty videos on machinist stuff. And I know that I got a couple guys that know a lot more than me. Actually, probably everybody on there knows a lot more than me, and maybe we can do like a live or something, we can talk more about it. But there's a ton of tools out there that I don't know. I saw on Instagram a guy just sold a tree bark scraper for like $100 and some bucks or $100. It's amazing. People like their old tools. So definitely start looking at it. Hopefully this, you know, when you're out there now, something will catch your eye and you can get it for $1 and flip it real quick for 50, 60, 70 bucks, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, I don't know, but hopefully this has been a little bit educational. If you like this type of content, if you would subscribe, comment down below, and like the video. And I do appreciate y'all watching, and you know, I'll catch you on the next one.